There are two ways to lead a life. 1. Do nothing and suffer the consequences. 2. Take the responsibility to change it. The choice is yours. Hello and thanks for joining us on another episode of The Eagle, a program that chronicles the activities of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. My name is Aisha Muhammad.
Corruption is a cankerworm, na cankerworm. I said na cankerworm, na cankerworm. Corruption don't finish our country. Nigeria women rise up and come together, oh yeah.
Every woman come out, but we fight corruption together, oh. Every woman fall out, but we kill corruption together, oh.
Them they thief our money, send them obodo yibo. Children they suffer every day, better school in no day. Nigeria women come, oh, women from every sector, make we fight corruption, we won't kill our country. Them go collect money for light, chop the money, light we no see. Good road and good health and call, we no see. I said na cankerworm, oh, na cankerworm, oh.
Join the EFCC in its crusade to rid Nigeria of corruption. Naija, now we all know.
On the program today, U.S. pledges more support for the EFCC. EFCC arraigns ex-Ekiti Governor Fayose for 2.2 billion naira fraud. Alleged 950 million naira fraud, EFCC rearraigns former governor of Kano State, Shekarau, and others. Alleged 5 billion naira fraud, EFCC rearraigns former Katsina State Governor, Shema. EFCC dogs 3 NFF officials for $9.5 million fraud. EFCC opposes application for transfer of ex-minister Akinjide's 650 million naira fraud case. This and more will come your way right after this timeout. Stay tuned. The United States ambassador to Nigeria, Stuart Symington, has reiterated his country's support for the fight against corruption and good governance in Nigeria. Rolake Odofinjolayemi has the details on this.
Symington made the declaration during a courtesy visit to the acting chairman, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ibrahim Magu, at the commission's new head office, Jabi, Abuja. The ambassador, who said that his country was committed to providing the needed support for the EFCC towards eradicating all manners of corruption in the country, described Nigeria as strategic to the United States of America, USA. Symington, who emphasized the importance of citizens' trust and confidence in institutions like the EFCC, however, advised the agency not to despair, but to continue its good work to make the Commission a world-class and respected institution like the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI.
Why I'm here at the EFCC. From your start, when legislation was signed, I was just reminded in 2002 and when this institution began work in 2003. The work of this institution has been synonymous with a very simple idea. You know, I know many people call it anti-corruption, but what I love to think of it as is pro-confidence, pro-credibility, pro-trust. Essentially, it seems to me that the work of this institution is designed to do the most important thing in any government on the face of the earth, and that is to grow the trust between the people of a place and the government of the place. Because as every law enforcement person knows, no policeman in the world keeps a town safe all alone. No soldier wins a battle unless they're supported by the trust of the people. As we get ready for these elections, I know that there will be an awful lot of information floating around. And there'll be an awful lot of talk about what people do with money, what people do with power, what people do with each other. There will be information, and it will be very hard to tell what is true. But I just wanted all of you to know, and Mr. Chairman and I discussed it, that I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you continuing now the tradition of more than 15 years in the minds of Nigerians, so that during the course, not just of the next few months, but for decades to come, this institution is what the chairman, as he worked at it when it started, intended it to be. A respected institution, kind of like the FBI in the United States. And I know that if that happens, it won't be just the leadership of your chairman. It will be the selfless service of every person that you've trained and that you will ever train, every person that you finance and that you will ever finance. But I do know that the challenges ahead are great.
In his remarks, the EFCC acting chairman Ibrahim Magu thanks the U.S. government for all the support accorded to the commission, especially in the area of staff training. He recalls that the U.S. was amongst the first Western nations to embrace the EFCC at a time when many did not give it any chance to succeed.
I assure you that we will not lose, not producers, we will maintain our neutrality, and our greatest asset in the office now is non-interference.
Or trust.
Yes. I am telling you, there's no way, nobody will come and go and say, look, go and no. That is our strength.
Yep.
And what you need in fighting corruption, it's not only fighting corruption, they say it's financial crimes, economic or financial crimes. But me, I want to call it fighting corruption because I have a passion for fighting corruption because I know corruption is a disaster. So everybody has a responsibility to want to make effort to build the trust among Nigerians and among friends of Nigerians.
Absolutely.
And we are also doing everything possible to improve the investment opportunities. One of our responsibilities is design and structure to encourage outside investment and to create.
The ambassador was later taken on a tour around the facilities at the new head office. Rola Kyodofinjolaimi, reporting for The Eagle.
Imagine a society where everything works. Durable road networks, stable electricity supply, portable water, well-equipped and functional healthcare facilities, quality education for all, affordable housing schemes, social security benefits, job creation, and a lot more that makes life comfortable to live. That is an ideal society. We can only achieve these if we all play our part. Say no to corruption to enjoy these benefits. Kill corruption to save Nigeria. This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arraigned a former governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, alongside his company Spotless Limited before Justice Mojisola Olaterogun of the Federal High Court sitting in Ikoyi, Lagos, on an 11-count charge bordering on fraud and money laundering to the tune of 2.2 billion naira. Rolake Odofinjolaemi has the details.
The former governor is facing trial in connection with the 1.299 billion naira and $5.3 million allegedly allocated to him out of the 4.65 billion naira slush fund shared by the Office of the National Security Advisor, ONSA, through a former Minister of State for Defense, Musiliu Obanikuru. Fayose allegedly acquired properties in some parts of Lagos and Abuja from the money, which was released for his 2014 governorship campaign. The defendant pleaded not guilty to the charges when it was read to him. In view of his plea, the prosecution counsel, Rotimi Oyedepo, asked the court for a trial date and prayed that the defendant be remanded in prison custody. However, counsel to the defendant, Kanu Agabi SAN, told the court that he had served a bail application on behalf of his client on the prosecution. He also pleaded with the court to remand his client in the EFCC custody. Consequently, Justice Olatoregun adjourned the case to October 24, 2018 for hearing of the bail application and ordered the defendant to be remanded in the EFCC custody pending the hearing. At the resumed hearing, Justice Mojisola Olatoregun granted bail to the former governor Ayodele Fayose in the sum of 50 million naira. In her ruling on the bail application, Justice Olatoregun granted the former governor bail in the sum of 50 million naira with two sureties in like sum. One of the sureties must have a 50 million naira bond with a reputable insurance company and must also show evidence of 3 years tax payment. The judge further held that the defendant must be available in court during subsequent proceedings, otherwise the bail will be revoked. The defendant was also ordered to submit his international passport to the registrar of the court. The judge, however, ordered the defendant to be remanded in prison custody pending the fulfillment of his bail conditions. The case was adjourned to November 19, 2018 for commencement of trial. Rola Kyodo reporting for the Eagle.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC has rearranged the former governor of Katsina State Ibrahim Shehu Shema before Justice Hadiza Rabi'u Shagari on a 26-count charge of conspiracy and money laundering. Rolake Odofinjolayemi will tell us more about this, but before we take Shema's report, let's take this one on the rearrangement of the trio of former governor of Kano State Ibrahim Shekaro, Aminu Bashir Wali and Mansur Ahmad before Justice A.L. Alagwa of the Federal High Court sitting in Kano on a 6-count charge of conspiracy and money laundering to the tune of 950 million naira only. Over to you, Rolake.
The trio are alleged to have conspired to launder money to the tune of 950 million naira. The money is part of the $115 million allegedly distributed by a former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Jezani Alison Madweke, for the purpose of compromising the 2015 general elections. It was further alleged that the said money was shared amongst the People's Democratic Party chieftains without going through a financial institution in violation of the provisions of the Money Laundering Prohibition Act. When the charges were read to them, all the defendants pleaded not guilty. Prosecution counsel Johnson Ojogbane requested a date for trial in view of the plea of the defendants. Counsel for the defendants, J.S. Okutepa, SAN, pleaded with the court to allow the defendants to continue with the bail earlier granted to them by the court. Justice Alagwa granted the prayer of Okutepa. The case was subsequently adjourned to November 19th, 20th, and 21st, 2018 for commencement of trial. Just to let you know, Shekarawu's rearrangement was sequel to the transfer of Justice Zainab Bage Abubakar, the first trial judge, to another division of the Federal High Court. Rolake Odofinjolayemi, reporting for the Eagle. Similarly, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has rearranged the former governor of Katsina State, Ibrahim Shehu Shema, before Justice Hadiza Rabi'u Shagari on a 26-count charge of conspiracy and money laundering. Shema is accused of laundering 5,776,552,396 naira, allegedly stolen from the account of Katsina State's Sher P. He is said to have conspired with one Idris Kwadu, who is on the run, to perpetrate the fraud. Shema's rearrangement followed the transfer of the trial judge, Justice Babagana Ashgar, to another division of the Federal High Court. When the charge was read to him, Shema pleaded not guilty. In view of the plea of the defendant, prosecution counsel J.S. Okutepa, SAN, requested a date for trial. Counsel representing the defendant, A.T. Kennedy, SAN, informed the court that his client was earlier granted bail by the previous judge, who is now transferred, and he urged the court to allow the defendant to continue with his bail and on the same conditions. Following no objection from the prosecution, Justice Shagari ruled that Shema should continue on the terms of the bail earlier granted to him by the court. The matter has been adjourned to November 13th, 2018. Rolake Odofinjolayemi, reporting for the Eagle.
Corruption is dishonesty and illegal behavior by people in positions of trust. A public office is a public trust. Do not abuse positions of trust for private gains. Stay away from corruption. Nigeria is a great nation, and it is our responsibility to make the country greater. If you notice any act of corruption, please report to the EFCC via info@efccnigeria.org or call 09 904 4751 or 09 904 4752. You can also call 09 904 4753. This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
3 officials of the Nigerian Football Federation (NFF) have been arraigned by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) for allegedly conspiring to steal money to the tune of $9.5 million from the Federation account. Rolake Odofinjolaemi will take us through the arraignment procedure.
The money was part of the grant by the Federation of International Football Association (FIFA) to the NFF for the development of football in Nigeria. The defendants, Christopher Andekin, Rajan Zaka, and Jafaru Fadanari Mamza, were arraigned on a 5-count charge of fraud before Justice Peter O. Afen of the FCT High Court, Maitama, Abuja. Andekin, a director in the NFF, and his co-defendants, Zaka and Mamza, who are cashier and head finance and accounts departments of the NFF respectively, allegedly diverted the said sum of $9,535,923.87 to personal use. Andekin was particularly accused of fraudulently diverting the sum of 1,353,407 naira and 22 kobo from the domiciliary account of the NFF domiciled in one of the new generation banks without due process, contrary to Section 311 of the Penal Code Cap 532 LFN 1990 and punishable under Section 312 of the same code. The defendants pleaded not guilty when the charge was read to them. Upon their plea, counsel to the EFCC, Steve Odiase, asked the court to fix a date for trial and remand the defendants in custody. However, counsel to the defendants, Arinze Egbu, prayed the court to admit the defendants to bail as the offense for which they were docked is bailable. Justice Afen granted bail to the defendants in the sum of 5 million naira bond with 1 surety each. The sureties must be officers not below grade level 14 in the Federal Civil Service, and defendants are to deposit their international passports with the court registrar. The case has been adjourned to November 28, 2018 for hearing. Rolake Odofinjolaimi, reporting for the Eagle.
Imagine a society where everything works. Durable road networks, stable electricity supply, portable water, well-equipped and functional healthcare facilities, quality education for all, affordable housing schemes, social security benefits, job creation, and a lot more that makes life comfortable to live. That is an ideal society. We can only achieve these if we all play our part. Say no to corruption to enjoy these benefits. Kill corruption to save Nigeria. This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) has urged Justice Muslim Hassan of the Federal High Court sitting in Ikoyi, Lagos, to refuse applications seeking to transfer a 650 million naira fraud case involving a former minister of the Federal Capital Territory (FCT), Olajumoke Akinjide, and 2 others to Ibadan, Oyo State. Thelma Eke is our guide on this.
Akinjide, alongside Senator Ayo Adeseun and the People's Democratic Party (PDP) stalwart Chief Olarinwaju Otiti, were rearraigned on an amended 24-count charge bordering on money laundering to the tune of 650 million naira. At the resumed hearing, counsel to the second defendant, Michael F. Lana, as well as counsel to the third defendant, Akiola Oladeji, brought applications before the court seeking an order to transfer the case to Ibadan, Oyo State. In his application, counsel to the second defendant prayed the court for the transfer of the matter to Ibadan, Oyo State, where he said the alleged offences were committed. He further argued that the transfer of the case will make easier for the defendants to bring the witnesses to court. He said, and I quote, "My lord, it is in the interest of justice and fair hearing that the case be transferred to Ibadan. We are seeking the transfer of the matter to Ibadan because it will be difficult to bring all witnesses who are in various parts of Oyo State. Besides, my client does not have the means to do so." Lana further said that Justice Hassan could still preside over the case in Ibadan in order not to delay the case. However, in his response, counsel to the prosecution, Nnemeka Omewa, pleaded with the court to refuse the applications. He stated that the court had jurisdiction to entertain the case, adding that it was the first defendant who applied for the case to be moved from Ibadan, where they were first arraigned. He drew the court's attention to the fact that the second defendant did not contest the application by the first defendant. Arguing a similar application, counsel to the third defendant told the court that the third defendant intended to call 65 local party leaders, chairmen and other officials in 6 local governments as witnesses, adding that the logistics and cost of bringing them makes Lagos an inconvenient venue for the trial. Counsel to the prosecution in his response, however, informed the court that the Section 98 subsection 1-2 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015 states that the chief judge shall transfer a matter if the prosecution has not called any witness. Citing that in this instance 2 witnesses have been called, he therefore urged the court to refuse the application. Consequently, Justice Hassan adjourned to November the 9th for the ruling on the applications. Thelma Ake reporting for the Eagle.
Corruption is a cankerworm, na cankerworm. I say na cankerworm, na cankerworm. Corruption don't finish our country. Nigeria women rise up and come together, oh yeah.
Every woman come out, we fight corruption together, oh. Every woman fall out, we kill corruption together, oh.
Them they thief our money, send them obodo yibo. Children they suffer every day, better school in no day. Nigeria women come, oh. Women from every sector, make we fight corruption. We won't kill our country. Them go collect money for light, chop the money, light we no see. Good road and good health and call. We no see. I said na cankerworm, oh, na cankerworm, oh.
Join the EFCC in its crusade to rid Nigeria of corruption. Naija, now we all know.
Always do what's right all the time to avoid the wrath of the law. Haitham Al-Dahra is learning the wisdom of above saying the hard way as he was arrested at the Malan Aminu Kano International Airport while trying to board an Egypt Air flight to Cairo without declaring the sum of $105,000 and 65,000 euros respectively to the Nigerian Customs Service. Here is the story of his journey.
Haitham Al-Dahra, a Lebanese, has been convicted and sentenced by a federal high court for the offense of underdeclaration. Upon his arrest, Al-Dahra declared the sum of $95,000, but a search conducted on him revealed that he was carrying a further sum of $105,000, which he concealed from the authorities. When the convict was arraigned on the 16th of October 2018, he pleaded not guilty to the 2-count charge, but 2 days later changed his plea to guilty. In view of his latest plea, prosecution counsel Mohammed Gambo urged the court to convict him accordingly. Justice Alagwa granted the prayer of the prosecution and convicted the defendant on a 2-count charge. The judge sentenced the convict to forfeit 50% each of the undeclared sum he was found with, that is, $52,550 and 32,250 euros to Treasury's single account of the federal government. Thelma Ake reporting for the Eagle.
And with that, that, we have come to the end of today's episode of The Eagle. You too can be part of this program by sending your enquiries and suggestions to The Eagle at efccnigeria.org or search for us on Google Plus at Official EFCC or Official EFCCNG at gmail.com. You can like our page on facebook.com/Official EFCC or follow us on Twitter at Official EFCC. And of course, you can visit our Instagram page at Official EFCC. To watch our programs and other activities, please log on to youtube.com/Official EFCC. My name is Aisha Muhammad. I leave you with these parting words. Fight corruption. Be the one who helps build a better society. Goodbye and God bless Nigeria.